What's the danger of slander, especially within the kabbalistic society? First of all, every person has many critical thoughts rising to the surface, and that's natural because our ego constantly works, constantly grows, and thus constantly awakens critical attitude toward the world, except to those who are close to us, truly close to me, to others surrounding me, related to me, my relatives. And in the group, relationships always need to spiritually ascend. Therefore, egoism works there in full force. Hence, it's no wonder that in each of us, ego constantly being stirred up. And let it be so. It has to be that way. That's the sign of the progress. But the question is, what do we do with it? I must tune my ego to the opposite. Meaning, I must work in such a way that above it, without destroying it, I build the qualities of love and bestowal relative to my friends in the group. And the same things I must demonstrate to all of them, to all of them. Give an example, and that way all of them should act as well in relation to myself and to the others. And from that game, it is in fact a game above our ego. Despite our ego, we gradually wake the surrounding light, special light, which affects us, elevates us, and creates in us this quality of bestowal, in which when that quality is born in us, we will feel the creator, the upper force, the governing force of the world. If I, instead of that, tell my friends that are on the same path about things that are bad in us, besides I speak about the critical things I see in others, not about how I am in contrary must show love to them, but instead I express my neglect or critical attitude, meaning my reasoning derives from my ego, then I spread the harmful infection among members of the group. And that's absolutely unacceptable. Therefore, that's the most harmful thing that kills our spiritual advancement. Among men, it's not such a how to say. It's not such a bad thing because there is no such natural impulse within us from the beginning. But in women, it exists. Therefore, if they want to be with us on the same path, we must cut these things by the roots, destroy it. I don't know how else to say it. For that reason, I'm so keen to slander, so critical to it, to gossips. There is no place within us for it. You can critically relate to something bad that was done by somebody in dissemination professionally, but not in our relationships. You cannot critically speak about your attitude toward the person, how you perceive him negatively. Besides, you don't even realize that the way you talk about yourself and not about others. In fact, that you can criticize others means that you think out of your ego. Therefore, slander is the worst thing that could happen in Kabbalistic group, and we need to fight it with any means we have. For that reason, I'm impatient, because that within us is a poison that can kill all of our advancements. So I said, if we have those things surfacing between us, we must actively fight it, and if we're incapable of doing that, then we must get rid of those people from our groups. But the same exists among men as well. Often happens, men talk about being unhappy with somebody, and that is discussed somewhere. If someone is unhappy with somebody in the sense of work with dissemination, work inside of the group, meaning not my personal attitude toward the person, but my attitude toward someone as a specialist, professionally, then there is a room for it. There is a room for it. And if it is in relations to someone as to a person, if I don't like his quality or his character, then it shouldn't be there. I must rise above it. The same as in my own child. I practically don't see negative qualities in him, or even if they exist, they're all covered by love. Nevertheless, I love him. Nevertheless, I don't tell anyone what's bad in him. That's the precise example of how our attitude toward our friends should be, like with my lovely little child. Relate to him in such a way. But it turns out that all of the conflicts are related to dissemination. More than anything else, it's not that someone doesn't like somebody, but rather someone didn't do something right. Can you give a clear example of a difference between slander in spiritual work and slander in dissemination work? I can say the same thing. I love my child. I relate to him very well. I want all the best for him. I don't talk about him something bad about him. I can say that he's being lazy at his studies in school, that he fights sometimes with his friends. Meaning it's nevertheless there is love. There is a love sense. Nevertheless, you feel kindness. I'm talking about, I don't chase evil. I don't want everyone to have the same feelings toward that person as I do. You see, I can speak about my friend, which I love, which I work with, who didn't succeed making a clip. Let's say Vladek. I don't like the way he made a clip about me. Didn't present me in the right way, the lighting wasn't sufficient, the sound was terrible, or something else. Didn't upload it to the internet properly so everyone would see how good and how handsome I am. It's about, I can say that, it's about professionalism. It's about unsuccessful resolution of the issue, let's say, of the problem. That I can discuss. And we discuss it openly in our discussions, meetings, and we learn on that. But under any circumstances, it talks about how I consider him to be my friend, and I relate to him with desire to get closer, to connect. There's a big difference. You see, we can't talk about every case there could be. There is even a book which is called Evil Tongue. The whole book. And there is so much in it. If you begin to read it, you'll learn thousands of examples, conditions, etc. It's all silliness to discuss it now like that. We can learn something from there, but in general, it's all about love. When you work on love toward a friend, then you don't have it. So first of all, you need to look at things through the prism of love, connection, unity. Otherwise, why are we together? So we can reveal in connection between us an upper force. Only that way it's being revealed. Therefore, the one that's slanderous, he destroys between us. He makes a gap in the connection between us, and nothing is going to be revealed of things we are expecting to be revealed. Therefore, I critically speak up about it, and I ask everyone to take this into consideration. There is no worse evil than lashon hara, the harmful tongue, when you spread this kind of attitude toward others and you affect others even if they don't even want to hear those things. Even to listen to those things is not a good thing to do. Gossips, to put it short. Things that are so popular among women. And we must fight it very seriously. If they don't comply, both men and women especially, then we will have to somehow, I don't know, go to battle, go to a very serious battle. And what to do if a person hears a slander or gossip? What is he supposed to do? To tell a person that you don't want to hear it, cut him off. And that way you will teach friend to act the same way, to stop it. And if somewhere a person passes by and he hears that people are talking about something, he hears these things. The same, he has to tell them, frankly tell them. It's a big correction in the group. Oh, look, for women it's natural. They always discuss somebody. They can do whatever they like, but in that case they need to realize that they don't go along with us in our spiritual path. But there are a bunch of women's camps or, I don't know, parties, I don't know how to say. Few people gather and it's always on their mouth. That's what I'm against. I'm against that. Everything must be balanced, absolutely. Kabbalistic group must be equal, homogeneous. You said that if someone tells somebody from externally, he multiplies the evil, he increases the uncorrectness. Of course, it's like a virus being spread. And let's say someone has done it. How are we supposed to deal with it? In general, if the virus penetrated the system already, how do we need to fight it? Only by covering it with love, good mutual attitude to everyone. If a person is in the group, then he is brought here and I need to accept him as the closest person. And one more detail, when that occurs in a person, in fact, each of us is a part of this process. We all sense that criticism. Yes, of course. And each time we need to fight it, to rise above it. How to teach ourselves not to spell these things out? A habit. Example of others. Constant how do you say, self-criticism, self-analysis. But you said that until a certain period a person still learns. He is like a child, he can do it. Is it acceptable in the beginning stages? No. As soon as a person joins the group, he needs to be informed about that and taught constantly, like a child. Constantly point these things out to him. And one last thing, when you went through such things yourself, obviously, you didn't have, I didn't have precise sense toward that. I didn't have a sensitivity for that. And then gradually it appears. And how did you, for yourself, all that realization of importance, that without that I won't be able to reach the goal? Only that. And everyone must understand that. I hope that they will understand and they will reach the goal, and it won't be so painful for me that they rip those connections in which they can achieve their highest state.